Hey everyone, it's Brianna. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another episode of #WIFELIFE. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how I knew my husband was the one at just 15 years old. I feel like this is my most frequently asked question. I feel like on all of my Wife Life videos, I mean I've done 2 previously, but all of the comments are always like, how did you know he was the one? And all of the videos I've done with Jalen, everyone always asks, how did you know he was the one? I get so many DMs, so I'm gonna spill the tea and let you guys in on how I knew and maybe help you guys. Just keep watching and I hope you guys enjoy. So as most of you guys know, Jalen and I started dating when I was 15 and he had just turned 17. And within the first few months of dating, I knew he was the one that I wanted to spend eternity with, you know? I knew I wanted to marry him. I knew I wanted to have his kids. I know that sounds crazy because at 15, you're supposed to be worrying about, you know, getting your permit and then eventually your driver's license. And you're supposed to worry about what to wear to the dance and playing good in volleyball. And of course, I was worried about all of those things and I was focusing on all those things. But also, like, in the back of my head, I was like, wow, thank you, God, for delivering my future husband in this perfect package. And I feel like whenever somebody asks me, how did you know he was the one? There's so many different reasons I could go on for hours and hours and hours, but I don't want to bore you guys, so I'm going to just try to compress it into an under 20-minute video. I feel like the really easy answer to say is just, you know when you know. And in the past, I used to get so mad when people would say that because I'm like, what? What do you mean? Like, how do you know? Like, whoa. Whenever somebody asks me that, that's just my answer right away. But now I'll just be like, oh, just watch my YouTube video, then you'll find out. So Jalen and I went on dates for a month and then we made it official a month after we started, you know, talking and going on dates and stuff like that. And I could see a future for us. And in all of my past relationships, I couldn't see a future. I couldn't see past today. You know, I couldn't see past like Friday's dance or what are you doing Wednesday night? You know, all I could see is now in the present. And I never imagined myself marrying any of the guys, and I never imagined myself having kids or starting a family or having my career with any of the guys. You know, I never imagined that in the past. And not saying that just because you can imagine that with someone means that they're the one, because that's definitely far from the truth. But there's more, which I'll explain. Even on our first date, we just connected. Not like that, like we mentally connected. We just connected so well, and I felt like I could just tell him anything and not worry about him judging me. We talked about our future and we talked about where we wanted to go in life, and I saw a future for us even on our first date, and we would spend hours and hours and hours on the phone and never get bored. And then we started officially dating, and I feel like everyone's like, oh, every couple has that cupcake phase, and then once you get past it, it goes downhill from there. And I feel like even to this day we're still in the cupcake phase. Like 4.5 years later, we're still in the cupcake phase. But I think a really good sign is that I just felt at peace with him, and I felt very safe and secure whenever I was with him. And we never had any trust issues towards each other, and he never gave me a reason to distrust him, and he never lied to me. He never did anything that made me question his character. He was always really honest with me, and if he made a mistake, he would tell me about it and we would talk about it. And I feel like in the first few months, we really poured the foundation for the rest of our relationship. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys know this, but Jalen and I didn't even have our first kiss until we officially dated for like 3 or 4 months. And that is saying a lot because, you know, a lot of the times in high school, the guys and the girls are just after, oh, kissing and hooking up and, you know, all that stuff. And that's not what our interests were. We first grew as a couple and we grew our relationship together before we ever entered into that stage, you know? Most of society's like, oh my gosh, you're his boyfriend and you haven't even kissed? I mean, you're his girlfriend and you haven't even kissed? That's weird to most people. That was one of the reasons why I really fell for him so hard and so fast. I knew that he actually cared for me and he didn't have bad intentions, and that really spoke volumes. And I feel like, you know, there's that cupcake phase like I was talking about, where after the cupcake phase, everyone says, says, the relationship goes downhill. You find out who they truly are and all of that kind of stuff. I know all of his strengths and weaknesses. He knows all of mine. Even after we found out all of the bad things about each other, we still loved each other and we still wanted to grow together and get past those things. And never in our relationship have we used our weaknesses against each other. I feel like a lot of the times when you get in a fight or when you're angry with someone and you know their weaknesses and you know everything about them, a lot of the times you want to use that against them and you want to fight with them and you want to, I don't know, that's just how fights are. We never did that. And we never have, because we know that's not the way to go about things. I want to read you guys a Bible verse because I remember reading this and I just felt really confident in the fact that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him. Let me read it to you. Hang on. This is Galatians 5:22 through 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. I could literally check mark off every single one of those. He has every single one of those traits. And after reading that, that's how I really knew. I was like, wow, because he's so patient with me and with other people, so kind, so gentle. He's so faithful and so loving, and he is everything that I've ever wanted and everything that I didn't even know I want. I remember when I was little, I would make a list of like my dream guy, and it would be like cute, funny, just a long list of things that I wanted. I hope that one day I find that list. Maybe my parents have it. I remember making that list and going back to it once Jalen and I started dating and laughing at the list because I was like, Jalen is more than just these things. The things that I didn't even think that I needed in a man, he was more than that. Obviously, what drew Jalen and I to each other, this sounds really superficial, but that's just how it is. Like you're drawn to someone because of their looks, which is really superficial, but we stayed together because of our souls and our personalities, He's the most beautiful human in the world to me. I don't think anyone even compares, at all. How they have those lists, sexiest man in the world. What is it, Maxim? Wait, I think that's the girl list. Do they have boys on that list? I don't know. GQ. Is that the right list? I don't know. There's some lists where it's hottest men in the world 2018. Jalen is on that list for me, number one every single dang year. He is the hottest guy in the world. Not only looks, his personality, his soul is the most beautiful treasure, magical thing in the entire world. I always picture us being that cute little old married couple that's walking on the beach holding hands together, and I don't know why I'm getting teary-eyed. At night when I would go to bed and he would have to say goodbye when we were in high school, I would just think about him all night, and I would just imagine us in 20 years with our kids, and then in 60 years with all of our grandkids and all of our maybe great-grandkids, I don't know. But just walking on the beach, holding hands, talking to each other and about our life, and I would just imagine our whole life, and I'm just so grateful to have him. He's a gem. He's truly everything I've ever asked for and more. I'm just so blessed, and I don't know why I'm tearing up. Every time I think about him, I feel a peace in my heart, And I've never felt that with anyone, and I will never feel that with anyone else because he's my one. And also, I just remembered this. When we were in high school, I think when I was a junior, his parents moved to a different state and he stayed back for me. So that was also another sign that okay, he's really serious about me because, most people would go with their parents. He actually lived with my family for a short period of time. And obviously we didn't sleep in the same room or anything. He slept downstairs and I was upstairs. We just got really close and we kind of knew everything about each other, We weren't hiding anything from each other, and I always felt really comfortable with him where I didn't feel like I'd have to hide. If I was failing classes or anything like that, I never had to hide it from him because I never felt, my dog, sorry. But I never felt like he was gonna judge me, and I never, I just always felt comfort with him, and I think that's why I knew. And what's funny is earlier today, I actually found, it's not a quiz, but it's a little article. The title of the article is 20 Signs You're With the Man You Should Marry, which I'm already with him, but I just want to read this to you because I thought it was so funny. Like, I had never read it before, but if I read it when I was 15, I'd be like, yeah, check mark, everything. Number 1, he always brags about you. Yes, and it's embarrassing. Number 2, he makes sacrifices for you and you're happy to do the same for him. Abso-freaking-lutely. Number 3, he shares the same values as you. That's another thing that I forgot to mention. Jalen and I shared a lot of the same values. We kind of did have differences, but we kind of just like merged together and became one, like it says in the Bible. All of our values are the same now. So yeah. 4, even after years together, he still does little chivalrous. That doesn't sound right. Things for you. Anyways, yes, he does all the time. He always does little things for me where I'm like, get butterflies. Even like years later, we're still in the cupcake phase, and I think we're gonna be that way forever because we choose to stay in the cupcake phase, you know? 5, he doesn't try to change you. 100%. 6, when you think about marrying him, the best part isn't the wedding, it's the idea of spending your lives together. Yes, that was always the thing. I mean, clearly, like Jalen and I didn't really have the wedding most people want. We just had like a cute, intimate little, not ceremony, but not elopement. It was like a mix between an elopement and a ceremony, you know? To us, the ceremony wasn't that important. Maybe in the future we'll have one, but it was more important that we were just together. 7, you survived long distance relationship. Yes, I also forgot to mention that. Jalen actually went away one summer. I think it was within the first 6 months of dating. He went away to Poland with his family. And it was really, really hard. Like, we could hardly talk to each other because he would barely have Wi-Fi. And when he was awake, I was asleep and vice versa. We survived it. And not only did we survive it, we thrived through it. And he came back and we were more in love. And I remember, like, even to this day, his family always jokes about that summer. Like, Jalen would always be like, I need Wi-Fi, I miss Brianna, blah, blah, blah. And like, even to this day, his dad always jokes about it, and it's so funny, but I don't know, it's just, that's how we both were. We both were just so in love. I mean, we are in love, but you know, we just knew. 8, I miss you isn't just a sweet thing you say, it's a reality. That's kind of like what I was just saying. Obviously, when we were in high school, we'd every single night have to say goodbye to each other because we weren't married and didn't live together or anything. I remember at the end of the night, it was the hardest thing to say goodbye to him because I just wanted to spend 24/7 with him. And now that we are married, we literally do spend 24/7 together. And we don't like doing anything separately. Like, I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people. Like, a lot of people are like, I can't wait to go to my job the next day so I can like get some space away from him. 9, you don't like having a roommate and love having your own space, but you'd still prefer to live with him. Absolutely. 10, he's your go-to person whenever you have a story to share about work, about friends, about anything. Yes. 11, you feel comfortable planning things 6 months or a year in the future. I mean, that's an obvious yes, come on. 12, you can cry in front of him without feeling embarrassed. Like I've explained, always have been super comfortable from day one. 13, when your friends complain about their significant others or the guys they've gone out with, you get kind of quiet because you don't have much to contribute. Yes! Oh my gosh, this article is me! This has happened so many times where like someone will rant to me about their guy and like I actually don't know what to say because I haven't experienced anything like that with Jalen. Like they'll be like, oh, so-and-so's cheating on me, and I'm like, break up with him. Like, if Jalen was doing that, I'd break up with him, but he's never given me a reason, you know? 14, he's close with your family and he's made sure you've gotten to know his. My dad is his best friend and my mom is his best friend and his parents are my best friends. And also his siblings are the best people ever. I'm so close with everyone and he's so close with my family and my brother and everything. They are my family. I love them and they love us and I love them. So yes, check mark, like a million check marks. 15, he cares about your friends. Absolutely. 16, he lets you vent. Yes, a little bit too much. 17, he tells you out of the blue that you look hot. Even like the days where I think I feel disgusting, because like, you know, there's some days I have greasy hair, no makeup, I look disgusting, and he'll be like, you are so beautiful. And I'm like, are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing? Like, it's so funny. 18, you can do things like travel together without fighting all the time. I mean, yeah, like, yeah. We spend 24/7 together, so yeah. 19, he plans activities that he knows you'll enjoy. Absolutely. I hope some of you are doing this checklist with me, so then maybe you can find out if your boo is the one. 20, he works hard at his job, but you're his priority. A million times, yes. What he does is very hard and like time consuming, but if I ever am like upset or I just need someone to talk to, or I just want to go get froyo, like he'll drop everything and do it with me, you know? I mean, I hope I didn't seem like braggy, because that's not what I want to come off as at all. I just want to show you guys that there is someone who's going to be your Prince Charming. There is someone who's going to sweep you off your feet one day. Whether you found him, I'm very happy for you if you have found him, or you're on the search. I would say don't look for him, because when you look for him, you won't find him. But when you're not looking for him, then he'll come. I feel like God just works in so many mysterious ways, and Jalen was brought into my life right when I needed him. So yeah, that is how I knew he was the one. There's obviously so many more reasons. I feel like I only touched the surface. Like, I could go so in depth of like every little thing, but we'd be here for hours. If you missed any of my last Wife Life videos, they will be linked right here. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe by clicking this button right here. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.